Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis. And I have this wonderful team that God has provided me that I always like to introduce. The first of which is my faithful assistant, Faith. And she was her dad's assistant at first. She came to church when she was 3 weeks old, and he would do the soundboard with one hand and hold her with the other. And then as soon as she was able to crawl, she just crawled right up onto stage. And I just left her there. I had a portable mic at the time, so I'd just step over her and we'd put her on the podium for announcements at the end. And ever since then, she's been my assistant. When she was older, she and her sister would hand out affirmation cards as a part of an ushering thing. And her dad was a tow truck driver and used to go on out-of-town tows, so he would bring the girls to my house because they only lived like 6 blocks away. And I have a project house. I don't know what else to say about that. I always have projects going on. So I put the girls to work, and I got to see what Faith could do. So when she was 14 and a half and said, I want a real job this year, I went, yeah, I'm opening a business. Come on over. And so she was my assistant there for a very long time, and the best assistant I had over there. And then when we went live for the pandemic, I said, do you want to be my ministerial assistant? And she said, yeah. And I was like, okay. So here we are. Instead of a man behind the curtain, an old guy behind the curtain, we have Faith behind the curtain. And so she's in the background doing everything. So all I have to do is talk. I don't know where my little dog went. And she also will answer you as me if you say hi, hello, good morning, which is how we like you to greet us. When we're in a facility, I can look out and see the shining faces beaming back at me. Here, I just get a number. I don't even get names, so I don't know who the audience is. And so she answers, and I go back and look at it, from time to time. And I've only in like 4 years had to add something twice, I think. So she does a really good job. And she is our soloist. Today we're going to be doing Use Me by the Agape Choir. And we are doing visioning today for the year 2025. So that's an appropriate song for her to do. And so thank you, Faith, for being here. I couldn't do this without you.
Thank you.
And then there is my partner in crime, the wise and powerful Oz. And he was my first baby practitioner. Oz and I have been together basically since 1998. And he was my first baby practitioner and then became my board president for many years and then moved off to Florida. And we lost the ability to have him here in the service. So when we went live for the pandemic, I asked him if he would be willing to be the practitioner of the day. And he said, yes. I'm sure he didn't know he was saying yes to a lifetime of doing this every weekend, but that's kind of the way it turned out. So he's been our practitioner of the day for the last 4 years. And what the practitioner of the day does is he does the invocation, the benediction, and then at the very end, he does the 1-minute miracle. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but right now, just to know that he's here for that. Thank you so much for being here, Oz. I couldn't do this without you. I love you. All righty. And there is a watch party button that you can click on and invite all your friends so they can see what kind of Sunday service they can expect to see. And then you can chat with them. It's a private chat, so you can answer any questions that they might have. I think that's all I've got. Okay. Yeah. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God is in this place, for God is always right here, right now. For God, as we understand it, is infinite and eternal and ever present, and therefore it must be right here, right now, in me, in you, in everything we see and everything we do. And God's presence animates and manifests itself as the universe and as potential universes that we cannot even imagine. And we know that these things are all good and all running with the sheer and utter perfection that God provides for all things. We allow these things to unflow through our service and in our visioning for ourselves, for the greater community, for the coming year. And we know that it is good and must be good, for God is involved. Give thanks that it is so, and I let it be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right. If you are just now joining, please say hello, good morning, hello, hi, good morning, however you want to greet us. We ask that you do that because in a facility, I can look out and see the shining faces beaming back at me. Here, I just get a number. I don't even know who's here. So please do that. And if you like something that you hear, whether that's something I say or something that Faith says or sings, I should say, and or what Oz prays, please use the like button. And if you love something, send us hearts because we love to get love. And if something strikes you as very powerful, by all means, use that wow button. It gives me the feedback to let me know when I'm on track. So definitely do that. This next song is one that Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver wrote during her practitioner training. And it's a great reminder that we are all connected.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I have seen, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
Yes, we are all one in it. All right. Speaking of Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver, she was the first recording artist to ask us to do her music. And so We use this was actually the choir that we had when we had a facility singing her songs. But when we went live for the pandemic, she was the first one to reach out and say, please use my music in your service. Also is Karen Drucker, part of our adjunct music team. We do a lot of her music too. She gifted us with her entire collection of CDs, which at that time was 20. And so we got the music itself. We got karaoke files, so we'd be able to do it in church. We got songbooks, so we'd have the lyrics. She gifted us with all of that. So I always like to mention those two ladies, as well as Albertina Giuffre, my Dutch singer, who she was our singer from like 2000 on, and now she appears only during what she calls the crying season, which is Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Memorial Day. And then she was our singer a couple of Sundays this December for the Christmas series. So the Advent series, I should say. So I always like to introduce them as part of our music team, even though the two of them don't appear on camera. We couldn't do this without them. So I always like to acknowledge that. So without further ado, here is Faith singing Use Me by the Agape Choir.
Use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God is the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and the hill of creation. God is creator, all and now. He needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that you do is command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the sun that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and He needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God. I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
I try it. For those of you who don't know, I have a Chihuahua on my lap, and I don't like to disturb her, so I clap very lightly. But Faith knows I'm clapping. Thank you, Faith, so much for that. You know, there's a couple of reasons why we do that song when we do visioning. By the way, hi, Cindy. I know you can't comment, so thank you for the like. I'm glad you're here. One of the reasons that we do that song is because it's the Agape Choir, which Dr. Michael Beckwith of the Agape Center for International Truth put together. And he's the one who guided us into our version of what visioning is. So it's appropriate to use it for that reason, but also because that's really what visioning is. And please understand, God is my word. You can use whatever word you like. If it's Allah, if it's Great Spirit, if it's divine intelligence, if it's just intelligence, or, whatever floats your boat, because God is a word that means something to me, but it may not mean something to you. So use whatever word means something to you. But the visioning process that he brought to us is, it is a way of finding out what God within us sees for our life, knows for our life, hears for our life, whatever. Because, we humans see about this much of everything, and then God sees the entire picture. And so because God lives within us, we have access to that ability to ask God, what is the vision for my life, right? So this process that Dr. Michael, visioning's been going on for centuries, but this process that Michael Beckwith brought to us, Dr. Michael Beckwith brought to us, is a process by which he talks about the 4 stages of spiritual practice or spiritual learning. And the first one is to us. It's the victim stage. We grow up, and most of us, in religions that tell us that either God is doing something to us or the devil is doing something to us, right? And that we don't have any control over it. And so that to us stage, while we call it the victim stage, it's not a negative thing. It's just a part of the process that we have to go through to recognize that things are not done to us. All right. You have to start where you are. And so most of us spend our lives thinking that things happen to us versus us creating our reality. So the next stage is the to it stage, and we call it the manipulation stage, which manipulation also has a negative connotation, but it's not really a negative thing. It's when we finally realize that we do have power. We realize finally that we create our reality, and that we do to our lives instead of it being done unto us, right? And so we find out that we can use the laws of the universe to create, to manifest, to have the kind of life we want. So that's that second stage. That's usually what I call my beginning students. They come in and for the first time in their lives realize that they are not, in fact, victims of their own circumstances. The third stage is the through us stage, where we recognize that we cannot be that which we have not yet become, right? And that God doesn't do something outside of us to us, and that we are not manipulating anything, because God can only do for us what it does through us, right? We are agents on the earth, on the planet. And so we're agents of God's love. We're agents of God's creation. We are the producers of our own life, if you want to put it that way. Utilizing God's love, God's power, God's presence. But it can only happen through us. It can't happen to us, and it can't happen outside of us. It can only happen through us. And then the fourth stage is as us. Now, this is when we stop needing to affect our world consciously. You know what I mean? Like, we just know that we are agents of this planet, God's love, you know? And so it happens as us. We are acting as God in the world. And so, not that we are all of God, obviously, each person could not be all of God, but all of God flows through us. And so, if we recognize that it is us creating our reality, then that just flows through us as us, right? So those are the four stages of development as far as Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith sees it. You may have heard his name. I don't know. Some of you will and some of you won't have. He was very involved with several projects. One was The Secret, the movie. And he also was very involved in the New Thought, what was it? New Thought. I can't remember the name of the organization, but the Dalai Lama was part of that organization. And it was New Thought leaders of all types from all around the world. His church originally was part of our organization, but he got larger than us. And we needed him more than he needed us. So he did leave our organization, but his teachings are still very important. He's out in, he's not in Hollywood anymore. He's out, he's in the LA area. I just can't remember where he is anymore. He's moved a couple of times, but one of the things he's most famous for in our organization is that he grew almost overnight a congregation of about 10,000 people. And it started with visioning for the church in his living room or someone else's living room. And there was like 25 or 30 people that started that. And within, I would say, 5 years, they had 10,000 people in their church. And it all started with the process of visioning. So that's how we started our church, as an example of how it works. And so now I utilize it once a quarter at least. And because of the way things laid out for Hanukkah this year, because normally we do it right before New Year's Eve. But the way things laid out for Hanukkah, I need to do Hanukkah, which is the Advent topic of hope, next week. So today we're going to do the visioning that we would normally do at the end of the year for the coming year. Now, the difference between visualization and visioning is very simple. Visualization is a very active thing that you're doing. You are picking a scene, so to speak, of what you would like to see happen in your life. And you focus all of your attention on that goal until it manifests, right? But that's a very active process. The act of visioning is very receptive. It is us sitting in the quiet, asking the God within us these questions, about what God sees as the bigger picture, what is in the highest and best for us. What must we do? What must we release? What must we embrace? I'll go through the questions here in just a moment, but that's the basic difference between visualization, where you're focusing on a goal until it manifests, and visioning, where we are receptive to that power within us and the message that it has for us. All right. The other thing that I always like to talk about before we get started is that we receive information differently. Every person does, depending on your gift order, which I learned about in psychic development class. But it's applicable to almost everything. It's how we learn when we're in a classroom. It's how we receive information when we're doing visioning. It's how we receive information when we walk into a room. And we immediately have a reaction to what's going on in the room. I don't know about you, but I'm a kinesthetic, meaning I get a feeling first. So I used to walk into business meetings and everybody was angry. And because I didn't know about the other parts of that, I right away thought they were mad at me. Have you ever done that? You walk into this room and everybody's fuming and you're like, oh God, did I do something wrong? And it wasn't until I learned about gift order that I started utilizing the other gifts to really figure out what's going on in the room, right? So how you get your information in visioning is very much like that. If you're kinesthetic, you're going to get a feeling. There won't be a visual. There won't be, or there might be, but usually it's a feeling. You might not get any words. Some people who are audient are going to get words. So the four are kinesthetic, audient, intuitive, and visual. Now, for me, I'm kinesthetic, intuitive, visual, audient. That's my gift order. So I never hear words. Sometimes I'll get a word that'll pop into my head, but I don't hear a voice with it. That's the intuitive. Visual, you get a picture. So some people, when they're doing the visioning process, are going to get a picture, an image. Some people will get a voice in their head that will give them a word. Some people will have a word just pop in their head. And some people like me will just get a feeling. And so we need to honor however that information comes into us. It doesn't really matter how it comes into us as long as we recognize what it is and honor it. Okay. Because if I don't get a picture, I can't be judging that I just get feelings, right? And sometimes it's more difficult for me to share what I got simply because it's a feeling. And, you have to use words to describe the feeling. And sometimes there's just not words. I don't know, how to put it that way. But, and so honor how you get your information. Don't judge it. Just keep track of it. All right. And if you've been in an educational system in your adult years, you will understand. Because, for instance, I was in this class where this woman spoke. Oh, my God, so fast. I had learned that the best way for me to remember information was to record it and then transcribe it. Because then I have audience, visual, and feeling all present in that experience. And so for me, it was a lot easier for me to retain the information when I did it that way. Well, it started because of this woman. My other classes, I would get, I don't know, maybe 15 pages in a 3-hour class. I got 21 pages from a 3-hour class with this one. And that's how fast she spoke. And her tests were word for word what she had said. She would ask questions that you were supposed to regurgitate exactly what she said. I didn't do so well on that first test. So I started recording her and then transcribing it, and I aced all the tests after that. But literally, she wanted word for word what she had said. So it's important for us to recognize not only how the information comes in, but also how we work with it. So nowadays, I go into a meeting and there's a lot of anger. I look around the room and I get a sense of what's going on, and I understand it's not about me anymore, right? And that's the only way I've been able to interpret what I'm feeling in the room. So we do that with our visioning as well. Okay. Now I'm going to ask 3 questions while we're in the visioning process. First, I'm going to lead you through a meditation, get you to that place of unconditional love, and then we're going to ask these 3 questions. What is God's vision for my life in 2025? Then we're going to ask, because we cannot have that which we have not yet become, I'm going to ask, what must I become in order to be the vessel through which that vision manifests through me, right? And then, because there are things in the way of us becoming that, what must I release in order to become that? Okay? So that's going to be the process. In a moment, Faith is going to start the music and we will start the meditation. And so I guess we're ready. Oh, goodness. I want you to imagine right now a big ball of light in the center of your room where you are that pulsates and throbs according to the Earth's heartbeat. Watch as it fills up and condenses. Feel that heartbeat of the Earth. Notice how your breath is keyed to that heartbeat. Notice how that pulsating, that throbbing of that light automatically soothes your spirit. It centers us in a feeling of peace. This is the peace of God, the one power in the universe that is peace, that is the peace of God. And as you focus your attention now on that pulsating and that throbbing light, I would like you to imagine that your pulsating ball of light is now in between all of us, is moved into the center of everyone who is connected here today watching this video. And we are connected to it by this beam of light that goes from our heart to that pulsating beam of light, which connects us to everyone else that is connected to that ball of light. Again, we experience that pulsating, that throbbing as matching our own heartbeat. And then we realize that everyone who is connected to it, our heartbeats are synced. Imagine now that that same ball of light grows until it encompasses all of us. There's no need anymore for a beam of light to connect us because we are in it. It encompasses all of us. There are no longer separate beings tuning into this. It's just one big ball of light, one big ball of peace, one big ball of unconditional love, that of God's unconditional love. So imagine now that that ball increases in size again to encompass your entire neighborhood. There are no individual houses anymore. There's only that pulsating ball of light drumming to the heartbeat of the earth, to your heartbeat, to our heartbeat. Notice that it grows again and encompasses your city or town. No more individual neighborhoods, only that big ball of light. Notice that it enlarges one more time and it encompasses your state or province. There are no individual cities or towns anymore, just that one big ball of light that we are all one in. One power, one presence, one love, one being, and we are of it. Notice that it enlarges one more time to encompass the entire country. No more individual states or provinces, just one big ball of light. And it enlarges again to the earth. There are no more individual countries, just one big ball of light, of which we are all one in. That pulsating reminds us how connected we are, how totally involved we are. How God is involved in us, as us, through us. Only God. And so it enlarges one more time, and we realize that there are no individual planets any longer, only the universe connected. And from this vantage point where we are looking at this, we now understand that there is no separation between us, that all of life is connected. One God, one power, one presence, one being, one life, one love. And in this moment, we experience that unconditional love of God perfectly permeating every cell of our bodies. From this vantage point, we understand that there is a healing balm located within this ball of light that is available to all, because all are included. So we offer it to the world. We offer it to the entire universe. That every person on this planet or others, if there is life, pulls to them whatever healing they need in this moment. For God's unconditional love is offered right now as that healing balm of the universe. And so we take what we need as well. Whatever is going on in our lives that we feel like we need that healing, now is our opportunity to take it for ourselves. Just revel in that experience for just a moment of what it's like to be in God's unconditional love, in the power of God, in the life of God. Our very essence, our very life, our very being. Just revel in that experience for a moment. Know that you can return to this space anytime you want. That all you need do is remember this experience to be back into that space of unconditional love, of light, of power, of meaning. And now travel back along a beam of light to your room, whatever room you're utilizing for this. Keeping your awareness and your consciousness in this state of unconditional love, but recognizing that you are transporting your awareness back into your own room. And now we right now ask that infinite presence, that infinite power, that lives within us, that flows through us, that encompasses the entire universe. What is God's vision for my life in 2025? Remember to honor how you get that information. Perhaps it's a feeling, perhaps it's a word, perhaps it's a voice that says something, perhaps it's a visual. Just honor honor how that information comes in. What is God's vision for my life in 2025? Now, putting that in your spiritual pocket to retrieve later. Ask this next question, which is very important to the process. What must I become in order to be the vessel through which God's vision manifests through me? What spiritual principle must I embody What must I become in order to be the vessel through which that vision manifests through me? Taking that information and putting it in your spiritual pocket to be retrieved later. Ask yourself this question. What must I release in order to become that spiritual principle that allows me to be the vessel through which that vision manifests through me? Perhaps we need to forgive someone or something. Perhaps we need to release an experience we've had. What must I release? What must I release in order to become that spiritual principle that allows me to be the vessel through which God's vision manifests through me? And I ask this last, so put that in your spiritual pocket to be retrieved later. I always like to ask this last question. What else do I need to know? What else do I need to know? Are there next steps that I need to know about? Is there something that has not been covered by the 3 questions? What else do I need to know? So I give thanks right now for this visioning we have done and the answers that we have received. As my heart fills with gratitude for these answers, I recognize that God is in all, through all, as all. There is one power, one presence, one life, one being. And that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am, and every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages, that is God flowing through me, guiding and leading me. I know that same truth to be so for the team that God has provided. For it is that same essence of life that flows through all, guides and leads us by that ancient wisdom of the ages flowing through all of life. I know that same truth to be so for every name that is here today, every person that is here today, whether that's in real time or later on, because that same essence of God, that same essence of life, that same power, presence flows through all equally. The Takuyas and all my brethren, we are all related. So right now, I bless this coming week with more knowledge, more information, more wisdom about all of the information we have received today as we enact those things, as we allow ourselves to fully embrace that vision that God has provided and allow God within to show us the way, what must be done by us as our part of it. I bless every name that is in the ministry of prayer today with that same knowledge and awareness, because God is the power underneath those circumstances, and it is the answer to all situations. I pull back the veil right here, right now, and I expose that truth. I claim it in their name as good and very good. And so I sit in a state of gratitude to know that it is so, to be of service in this way. And I just let it be. And so it is. Amen.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world.
Thank you, Faith. Right now is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express gratitude for that which you may have already experienced in the physical realm, or perhaps something you have created in the mind of God and have not yet experienced in the physical realm. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to go with me to www.oasiscsl.org, and about 2/3 down the page is the offering affirmation that I'm going to have you say with me. But directly under that is a Contribute Now button. So let me just say briefly something about the contribution that you're making. First of all, when we're in a facility, there's rent and utilities and Wi-Fi, all those other things that we have to take into account. But here, because we don't have a facility, our only expenses, there's two expenses that we have. One is Faith, because she is a staff member, that is a paid staff member. And two is our vision. We market to the world for our vision. Our vision is a healed world, and our mission to get there is healing the world one person at a time. And so in order to do that, in order to reach our vision, we really have to market to the global world. Right now we have people from Bangladesh, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Germany, Holland, UK. I'm sorry if I forgot one of you. But, we need to make sure that we can reach the entire world. So it does take money, unfortunately, to market that way. And so that is what you're contributing to. So please go with me now, whether that's in real time or later on, to www.oasiscsl.org and say this offering affirmation with me. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive. And so it is. Hit that Contribute Now button and help us get to our vision through our mission. All right. I always like to start out with our licensed practitioners because they serve our church in 3 different ways. The first way is that they pray every day for a week on any prayer requests that are turned in. So I call them my God Squad because I have this imagery of them like marching in, taking charge. If you would like prayer for something, put it in the comments section. If you don't want it to be public, you can DM Faith, and she will make sure that our God Squad gets those requests. But they will pray on those every day for a week. That is their commitment to our church. The second way our licensed practitioners serve our church is by providing spiritual guidance by appointment for a fee. Now, I don't get involved in the fee part of it. So some people use PayPal, some use Venmo, some use Cash App, Zelle. For our international people, there's Wise. And I just found out about one recently called World Remit. And so there is a way to pay. And what you're going to do is you're going to reach out to, at this point, it's Oz. Let him know. I don't get involved in any of this. They have their own business. But let him know that you would like a session for spiritual guidance, and he will let you know how to pay for it. And then he will reach out at the appointed time by video chat. And the third way that our practitioners serve our church is what Oz does every week, and that is he is our practitioner of the day, meaning he does our invocation, our benediction, and is available for our 1-minute miracle at the end. Now, the 1-minute miracle is not a time for spiritual guidance or counseling. It is a time where you can share with him what you're experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. So that is what our licensed practitioners do. Take advantage of this loving service they provide. Our practitioners are awesome. Just saying. All right. And then the next one is Brooks and Bailey. These are 2 ladies that do jewelry, and they do have a line of mala beads. I love the mala beads. These are amethyst, so they're $60, but they have all kinds of gems starting at $30 on and up for the necklaces. The necklaces have 108 beads. The bracelets have, 54 beads. And I'm pretty sure they're $15 to $20, depending on the gemstone. All right. The reason that I love the mala beads, and the reason I focus in on that, is because the Hindus and Buddhists use these mala beads to do their chants. And so they count off their chants by moving one of the beads. I say do 100 affirmations a day. So to me, that is perfect. It's 108 beads on a necklace and 54 on a bracelet. So you would use it twice a day. So that allows you to do your 100 affirmations. Not that 100 is a magic number, but it's a number that helps you retrain your brain. Okay. So these ladies are Brooks and Bailey. You can reach them through brooksandbailey0307@gmail or through their own Facebook page, which I try to post anytime they have an event where they have a booth at it. I try to definitely do that. We like to support those who support us. And so we make sure, for instance, that these 2 ladies get some support from us because they support us. All right. And so all the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, which is really a very worthy cause. All right. And then I don't think we have, oh yeah. Okay. So the next is Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver. It's not too late to still get something for Christmas. It's next week. um, Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver runs around the country singing and playing guitar. And she is unable to change her website to reflect how to pay her. So you go on the website, see what CD you want, and then you reach out to her by email, let her know. She'll let you know how to pay for it, and she's very good at sending them out right away. Okay? She carries them in the trunk of her car. The other one is Karen Drucker. And Karen Drucker, her website does work. So you go on there, you can buy it by the song, by the CD, by the karaoke file. You can even get songbook. Faith and I have favorite CDs of hers that we like to use because they have chants, and the chants are really geared towards putting memes in your head that are good. So those are Songs of Spirit, and then Songs of Spirit 1, 2, and or 2, 3, and 4. She also has some wonderful CDs on there that are just songs. But we do like those chants. So definitely check out these two ladies. Like I said, I like to support those who support us, and they have supported us all along. So definitely check them out. Get something for yourself or get something for a loved one for Christmas. All right. And then check out our website, www.oasiscsl.org. There you're going to find activities that we've done in the church, picnics and my ordination and Reverend Lynn's ordination, and all kinds of things, so you can get to know who your spiritual family is. Unfortunately, we are way behind in doing anything that is current, like video sermons and that kind of thing. We have just had so many things distract us from being able to complete the task, but we are working on it. In the meantime, you can go to YouTube for video sermons, SoundCloud for audio sermons, and everything is under S. Tucker. All right, but do check out our website. I'm going to turn this over to Oz now.
Okay. And I know right here, right now, God's vision for our lives is manifesting, unrolling into the new year. And I know that the blessings that unfold as the days and the weeks and the years develop are all of perfection, beautiful creation unfolding in and around us, always perfect, always whole and complete. I give thanks for these things. I allow them to unfold unimpeded. And it is good, and very good. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. I want to tell you also that your spiritual pocket contains all the answers to all of this, and a good way to cement that in is to use your thumb and your ring finger and kind of tap it as you're thinking about those words or maybe saying those words. But also, if you want to share them on here, you get the support of your entire community for it. So definitely do something to cement those answers in. Join us next week and every week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time in the USA. And next week, we're going to be lighting the menorah for Hanukkah and talking about hope as an Advent topic. And so definitely check us out next week and all weeks, but specifically next weekend so that you get the series, the total series. I want to thank you for being here. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning. We are so blessed that you were here with us. Until we see you next week, bye. Stay safe. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.